did you actually start in the music business? I mean, like step by step.
Ace started coming around more and more. Then he invited me to go to the studio with him in Echo Park. Then we went to the studio and he had me do like some parts on his album. Then when we got finished doing that, we went back to the house. Then he asked me to go to another studio with him. It was in Hollywood. It was called the Mad Hatter. And then we went there. That's when he was finishing up what he owed on Who Bangin' Records. It was one of the last records he had to do. And when I was talking to the owner of the studio, he was telling me, because I asked him, like, how did you get this house? I mean, I know it costs a lot. And he said, yeah, the note is like $10,000 a month. I said, how do you make $10,000 a month? He said, well, I throw rave parties. And then when the rave scene gets slow, that's why I turn my house into a recording studio. I sell studio time for $200 to $150 an hour. And that help cover the cost, you know, if I book enough talent to record at my studio. And that's when I start asking him about the equipment, like how much that costs, how much the board costs. And it was a little out of my reach because he told me the board was like $100,000. Then I started researching at the Guitar Center, and I started buying stuff that was like equivalent but much cheaper to the equipment that he had. And when I started, at first it was a guy named Jay Boogie that used to take me to the Guitar Center, and he knew what he was doing because he was a DJ, but he had me buying stuff that I had already bought. And then when I got with Boki was like, well, all these things do the same thing, so you don't need both of these things. You could take one of them back and you could trade it for another piece of equipment. That's when I started asking Boki for his expertise, because I seen Boki was a little further along than Jay Boogie. That's when me and Boki got tight, and Boki was an engineer, and he also did mastering. So I asked Boki, you know, if he would come aboard and help me, you know, to build this studio. And Boki said, you know, he had time, so me and Boki started going to the Guitar Center purchasing equipment. And then when I finally got all the equipment purchased, I needed somebody to engineer, and I asked Boki, and Boki said, well, you know, he kind of busy. So he said, you know, he can when he have time, but for the most part, he can't be on call like every day. So that's when Revenge brought Q by the studio and introduced me to Q. And Q, having a background in music and already knowing how to play instruments, he had a little knowledge on how to record a session. So I actually signed Q to a production deal, and then me and Q, we became like partners, and Q did all the recording of the vocals, and he made all the production. Then I started looking for talent to sign, and I asked Eight, you know, if you want to do a record, could we do a record? And he said, yeah, we could do a record, but I'm still kind of tied in with Who Bangin', so we had to change my name. So we came up with the name Tony Smalls. And then I had Eight help me find talent. So one day a guy named Mikey that I was hanging with, he had went to a party in the Nickerson Gardens with him and his brother Menace. And I had already had interest in signing Menace because Menace was a tight rapper. So Menace and another guy they met at the party named Reezy, they was up all night battling each other. And then Mikey and them said, you know, we're going to bring Reezy by the spot to meet Bones, so you know, we can see if we can think about signing him. When I met Reezy, it was like a match made in heaven. I asked Reezy and Menace to start a group called Strong Arm Criminals, and then we was going to have Eight mentor them and help them with their first project. So we finally got everything underway, and we started recording songs for Strong Arm Criminals, and then Eight had actually recorded a couple songs with them, and the project was coming along nice. But to secure a distribution deal, I had to release the Eight album first because he was already a marquee act. So me and Ace started working on his album at the same time Strong Arm Criminals was working on their album. And it took us about a year and a half. We finished the MC8 album, and then we started shopping for distribution. So a music convention came up that was in Dallas. So we packed up all our stuff and we drove the tour van to Dallas. Well, first we drove to Oakland because we had a distributor that wanted to sell our DVD Ashy the Classy. So we took 400 copies of Ashy the Classy to Oakland, and it was a lady named Mary. She ran an independent distributor out there in Oakland, and she distributed to all the record stores in Oakland.
Mhm.
So we sold her 400 pieces, and the money that we made from her, because she cashed us out that day, we went on the road. We started our first leg of the tour.
Mhm.
So our first tour spot was Las Vegas.